Hi, in this video series, we're going to go through the installation steps of OTAC auth MFA Server on PLCnext devices. Now, if you don't know what OTAC is or what it does, I highly encourage you to see one of our other explainer videos, and I'll leave the link of it in the description below. In this series, we'll be going through the OTAC auth version 2 and the new client-server architecture that we've introduced. We'll go through the installation steps and then see how we can log into the admin portal for the first time. And last, we'll see how we can set the IP information. Now, before we begin, I would like to talk through some of the changes that we've introduced with version 2. With version 2, we have a client-server architecture that splits the server and the client into two different apps. The idea is the server can run on a more powerful PLC, such as an EPC device, and the client can then run on much smaller PLCs like AXCs, for example. And this allows us to connect multiple clients into a single MFA server, having a single unified solution. On the PLCnext store, we've got two apps available, OTAC auth MFA Server and OTAC auth MFA Client. When you install the server on one of the EPC devices, it installs two main components, which is the admin portal and the verification API service. The admin portal is a web application that allows you to configure and manage the solution, but also to do role management and user management. The verification API is responsible for verifying the OTAC tokens that are received by the client. Similarly, when you install the client, it installs two other components, which is the OTAC extension and a couple of CLI tools. Now, because the OTAC client doesn't have any UI available, the CLI really helps you to set the license information and also set the IP address of the server. The OTAC extension is responsible for forwarding the user authentication onto the server itself. In other words, when a user types in their OTAC code that's generated on their mobile app on Android or iOS, they input the OTAC code using the keyboard onto the WBM or the engineering application. That gets passed on to the OTAC extension that calls our API to verify the OTAC code itself. And once it's verified, the user is allowed to log in and the result is returned back to the client. On the PLCnext store, search for the OTAC auth MFA Server app. Make sure you've selected the latest version at this moment, which is 2.0, and click on download. I'm going to accept the terms and condition and the software license terms. Now, once you've downloaded the app from the PLCnext store, head over to the WBM of your PLC device, and on the left, navigate under Administration to PLCnext apps. Click on Install Apps and locate the app that you just downloaded. Now, this will start uploading the app to the PLC device, and this might take a couple of minutes to do. Once the app has been installed, you'll see it available on the app page here. Now, one thing I forgot to mention earlier is for our app to work, we need a minimum firmware version of 23.0.6. Now, the only thing remaining is to start this app. Now, once you click on the Start button, it'll give you a warning that your PLC is going to reboot. Click OK. And once the PLC has restarted, the app would be available. Now, to open the OTAC auth admin portal, open a browser and navigate to the following URL, which is the IP address of your PLC, followed by the port 8443/OTACadmin. And this will bring you to the login page of the portal. Now, the default username password to log in is OTAC_admin, and the password is listed in our documentation, the default password. Now click login. Now the first thing the system will do is ask you to change the default password. So click OK, and then type in your existing password and choose a new password that you would like to set. And click change. Okay. And this has updated the new password that I've selected. Now let's re-log in with this new password that we've set. And once the login has been successful, it will allow me to log into the dashboard. The last thing we need to do is, under OTAC management, go to server IP management and make sure you select the correct IP address of the current server, which in this case is 192.168.1.100, and click Save. You will have to restart the PLC. And once the PLC has been restarted, we have our OTAC auth MFA server up and running. So this ends our first series on how to install the OTAC auth MFA server. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. Thank you.